Well, popular Grand Rapids Park could be getting a major makeover while also keeping what locals say they love most about it. Northern News Now's Kyrie Johnson spent the day learning about the major project that could be in store.
The Grand Rapids Economic Development Authority just released master plans for the revamp of the American Legion Memorial Park. And they hope in the end it'll become a recreation destination year-round that the whole city will benefit from.
American Legion Memorial Park near Yanmar Arena isn't just one thing to one group.
Upwards of 30 different groups that use this park. And each one has their own special interests. And so it was really how do we bring everyone together and come up with a plan that works for everyone.
Planners say the process is now moving into its next step, figuring out what improvements matter most. So far, planners say there's one message they keep hearing.
They just love the park and want to see improvements, but not, anything, changing the feel of the park.
Some of the ideas being discussed range from turf fields and trail upgrades to better lighting and safer paths. For now, the focus is feedback, and the tool they're using is meant to make that easy.
We have an interactive comment map, and people can give thumbs up and thumbs down.
It just allows people kind of that real-time ability to provide comments and get their voice heard.
Leaders hope the upgrades could bring in more events, more visitors, and a bigger economic boost. And they say hundreds of residents have already weighed in.
I think that's one of the important parts of getting the input is that we do need that community buy-in as well.
Community feedback is open through May 10th, and then planners will finalize the design plans and move forward with approvals and construction. In Grand Rapids, Kyrie Johnson, Northern News Now.
Thank you, Kyrie. Now, in addition to that online feedback, there will be a public open house on April 28th from 4 to 6 p.m. at Yanmar Arena. By the way, any cost and how it would all be paid for has not been determined just yet.